Hello, I'm FPX Toycat, and welcome back to episode 498 of the Minecraft Bedrock Updated Adventures Let's Play. And my god, 498 episodes. Do you ever see a number like that and think, like, how is anyone ever going to get into this? Like, who gets into an episode with 497 previous ones? It's going to be hard, but today's going to be a lot of fun because I'm working on a variety of small projects as I give you the weekly update in the Let's Play world, because I've got a lot of things I need to finish, and it's always hard to finish things, but allow me to show you some of the things I'm finishing today, because first of all, my Obsidian Desert has come along quite delightfully. It's really nice. I've even got a purple temple over here, and I feel like if this is going to be a desert but with end features, and obviously obsidian as the base, which is arguably an end feature, but we'll leave that to the side, there's one other structure I need to make from purple. There's actually a lot more I need to make because I've got all these purple blocks, but also what I want to do is I've got all of this obsidian, and I want to just extend it a little bit further. One of the few ugly things about this that I'm not really a big fan of is how the obsidian kind of stops right behind the purple temple, which I feel like removes some of the joy of what I'm going for right there. So my plan is to just kind of extend the obsidian a little bit further, both so it touches the edge of this turtle farm I've got going on here and haven't used in 2 years, and also so that, again, there's like a bit more of a buffer between the desert and between my purple temple, so it looks a little bit less ugly from this side, because as you can see, it definitely looks ugly from this side. So I'm just finishing placing about 300 blocks right now to extend it just a tiny bit, not as much as we otherwise would. Isn't it so weird that 300 obsidian is the sort of thing that takes, you know, even at 2 seconds a block, which is very, very fast, by the way, using Netherite enchanted tools. Even if it takes you just 2 seconds a block, that's 10 minutes to mine 300 obsidian, and then you can place it down in just a matter of minutes. I mean, I guess everything is a matter of minutes. You know, that's the annoying thing about that phrase, right? Like, you know, think about it. Even the entire universe is a matter of minutes. You can measure anything in any time scale if you really want to. That doesn't make it impressive. Anyway, speaking of things that aren't impressive, I mean my Obsidian Desert probably right now. I think that the Obsidian Desert is a great start. The fact that we replaced an entire biome with obsidian, it's doing real nice. I love the look that it gives, as dumb and bizarre as it is. However, we need some more features, and given that I've got so much purple anyway, doesn't it make sense that maybe we should use that? Yes, it does make some sense that maybe we should use that. So just over here on the little coast near that, what I figured we should do is we should make a desert well, because what is Minecraft's most beautiful structure? You know, I don't even need to tell you. Well, you'll know what Minecraft's most beautiful structure is. It is the desert well, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to build one. At this point, I can build a desert well from memory. Not perfectly. I actually build it very slightly wrong every time. But I can build a desert well from memory, which is maybe a bad sign about how far this meme has progressed, but that is not my problem, because desert wells are so beautiful that I don't care about the progression of memes. I just care that maybe, actually, I shouldn't have done it like this. Using pillar blocks mixed with regular blocks looks a little bit weird, but again, we're trying to make a whole lovely end biome over here, and if that's how we have to do it, that's how we have to do it. And now, usually we'd actually have the water not be on a slope, but whatever. That works for me right now. We grab 2 more sources of water, or maybe 3. I forget how infinite sources work. Oh, we can just use the infinite source in the middle. And then we place it over here. And then, oh god, it's not actually turning into infinite sources. And there we go. We've got ourselves a fully complete, only slightly flowing over the edge, desert well. Boom. This is a purple well and a desert temple. And now we've run out of things to build in this desert. Obviously, I do intend to come back, and I do intend to build more here, but I like the idea of just making slow and important progress. Fixing the tiny gaps in things you have already is never that glamorous. Like, again, if you do a before and after of this Obsidian Desert, it looks basically the same then as it does now. However, fixing a few of those gaps that existed is an important project. It's not going to be the most thankful project in the world, but sometimes I realize that's why you need to do them. That's also why I'm going to be taking my end rods over to my end. Wow, that's an inventive place to put end rods, right? No one would ever see that coming. Because I have this fun little boat path in the end, and one of the things that people are always telling me to do, and honestly it makes me not want to do it, but one of the things that I agree you should have done is finish the end rod placements along the side. I only did them on one side, and obviously having them on both gives you not only an extra rail to glide against, but also a little bit of extra safety from, you know, dying. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be extending this just a little bit. So yeah, we've got 32 end rods in my inventory. I've also got a bunch of blaze rods that I've got from killing blazes. That's now a mini priority in my world. And boom, now we can make ourselves this many end rods. It's actually less than I thought we could make. But we're gonna start, and we're gonna move it just a little bit further, because doing the small tasks, getting improvements made is important. I think that I think that in Minecraft, especially in Minecraft videos, you want to see brand new projects starting from scratch. But, you know, the truth is even though that's probably where your incentives are going to lie as a Minecraft YouTuber, that's actually kind of not what most Minecraft is spent doing, right? Any big project seems like it's exciting for the start and the end. Those are the two most exciting things about anything, like whether it's book writing, you know, any form of story, any form of anything. When you're trying to make a narrative, the start and the end are the exciting bits. You started as a scrappy underdog, and now you're the multi-trillion-dollar CEO, right? That's exciting. People love stories, and they love you know, like those kind of beginnings and ends. However, there's a lot of work in between those things that I think we forget about. And that's, you know, the majority of what you need to realize in Minecraft, that sometimes there is going to be some worky style moments, like doing some things that aren't the most fun. And it's interesting because, again, I find this to be a conflict of two different parts of me. Like, I think the correct phrase is cognitive dissonance. When you have two parts of your brain that, like, highly... like, you know, that disagree with each other, you get this kind of, like, unpleasant feeling because you want to do something, you don't want to do something at the same time. It's hard to really describe this perfectly. But basically, like, you know, in Minecraft, I have conflict between the part of me that loves starting new projects. I come up with projects in Minecraft, maybe this is a weird thing to say, but, like, literally in the shower almost every day, I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool. I've got all this glass now, I've got all these dyes from my flower placing stream. Surely now I could work on a giant stained glass build. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Or maybe, you know, given I've got too much gravel and too much sand lying around, what if we made some concrete? I could make a giant green concrete thing in my end, and then, you know, do something cool with that. Ooh, that's a great idea, isn't it? So like, you know, like I have all these ideas that come to me, but also you need to realize that when you have an idea, it's really fun to get it started, but it's hard to, like, get it off that point. So I have a part of me that loves finishing something. I want to get to that end. But, like, knowing that, you know, to finish something, I have to not start another brand new project. Like, you know, I'd love to do one of my favorite videos I used to love were the kind of realm experiment series, and I do have a few realm experiment ideas, but it's not just the idea and completion. It's like, oh yeah, I also have to do all the terrible things I hate that make me stress and make me want to die in the meantime. Like, the moment I leave, you know, if I'm not on the server 24/7, someone's like, oh, he's gone now to get his attention, I'm gonna hack and bring him back. Like, again, I can't deal with, like, children desperate for attention, basically, on the internet, which is, let's be honest, well, anyone who hacks in Minecraft, you know, I take very, there are very few instances where you can be like, yeah, these people are children. Like, some people try to argue everyone who plays Minecraft is a child. That's a bit extreme, but people who, like, are desperate to, like, hack on a server so they can show on a video, that's a type of children, if not age-wise, then at least mentally, right? But, yeah, I think, I think there's so many things that you can enjoy, but realize that you hate the middle process off, and you've got to decide, do you like the end result? Do you like the idea of starting it? More than you like the effort, and that's what life is kind of about. That kind of working out the conflict between what you want to do now and what you want to do always. And it's hard. There's no always definitive perfect response, but maybe that's part of what makes it so beautiful. Or maybe that makes you hate it more. I guess you get to have the decisions about that one. But yeah, look, we've now gone over halfway. It's a 1,000-block long ice pathway. It's made from packed ice and not blue ice, and one day I think I'll regret that, but that day is not now. And now we've gotten to, as you can see right here, -500, or am I pre-announcing it? But yeah, like, so something I find really interesting is when you tell people about your goals, you're more likely to complete those goals because you get, you know, like, you've looped someone into that. When you do something for just yourself, you're like, oh yeah, I get all the validation of saying I've done that. Like, you know, you get all the great feelings of like, oh yeah, there's this wonderful new project I'm working on that I just can't bring myself to finish. It's 100 days. Challenge, but like way different to the ones you already expect. Oh, we're so close to finishing this. Do you know what we should do? See, this is a great example of, like, I don't have the resources. It's gonna add an extra 20 minutes to my morning, but I need 170 more end rods. Why don't I just, what is that, divide by 4? I need 35 blaze rods, if I did that maths correctly, and I don't think I did. I need 45 blaze rods, 42.5 blaze rods. Let's just go kill some blazes, and then we'll come back when we've got them. And we can actually finish this pathway. It'll be great. I've still got plenty of pop chorus fruit, because I just smelted up a bunch of chorus fruit as an easy way. And I intend to farm a bunch more chorus fruit with my upcoming End Ocean project. So yeah, now it's just about the blaze rods, which is a very easy thing when you're at this level of survival. Just 2 critical hits for looting sword. Do this 5-10 times, and we should be good. Did you know blazes give more experience than almost every other mob? I bet you did know that, because I feel like I bring it up far too often. There are some Minecraft facts that are just like so interesting to me the first time I heard them that I tried to share them with other people and get that same feeling into them. And it doesn't always work, but it's a thing we do. Also, my head is in Nevrek, apparently. So yeah, with that said, I think that cognitive dissonance, 2 parts of your brain working against each other, is a very common thing. And some people, you know, like are aware of that and it like torments them. But I think some people aren't aware of how often 2 parts of their brains want different things and instead just like kind of flip back and forth between the two. Like, yeah, I will finish projects. No, I will start them. Yeah, I will finish projects. And you know, like, I think it's fine to like have multiple different desires that you flip back and forth at will, unless you feel like actually obligated to one of them. If you promise people a thing, but you can't do the thing because you keep... So I used to work with... I mentioned before, like, I've always been doing some form of work on the internet since I was 12. I never had money of my own from my parents, and I felt bad ever asking for it because my mother was a single mother, and she was working all day, like so long hours just to like provide the basics. And it's like I felt literally awful asking for like £5 for something, because it's like, oh, she barely has money for things she wants after work. You know, like it would just make me feel tragic. So anyway, I did a lot of internet stuff to make money, so I could have my own source of money that I wouldn't feel terrible about. And one of the goals I had was I was making a Flash game, and I was really bad. I'm really bad at coding. That's one of my few areas I'm just not good at. I'm really good at like coding in the school sense, where they tell you to do some basic coding, and like they don't understand it either, so you can, you know, blag your way out of it. But I don't know how to actually make things from scratch, especially games. I've always wanted to be a games program. I've mentioned this a ton of times before. I can't do it. I always have a trillion ideas for like fun, quirky games. I can't do it. So there was this guy who was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do a 50-50 venture. I really love what you've got here. You've got loads of graphics. You've got like a basic code. We're gonna fix up the code. We're gonna make it work, and then you can do all the song inputting or whatever, and like also like tracking, etc. It was gonna be a rhythm game, and the guy was like so enthusiastic, and then like 3 days later, never spoke to me ever again. He was just hyper enthused about this project, and then gave up after that time. And I've had that happen in so many different aspects of my life, where I realized like, yeah, someone got really excited, and the moment their excitement wore thin, they're like, well, what's the point anymore? And on the one hand, that's great. That's what we tell people, like, yeah, just follow your dreams. Don't worry about anything else. But also, I think we do need to realize we do have a slight obligation to other people. If I just followed my dreams all day, every day, there would be days that I didn't upload videos, but I like that I have an obligation to all of you every week to make the Let's Play. When was the last week we missed a Let's Play? I genuinely could not tell you. It could be that there has never been a week without a Let's Play, and you know, I'd love to fact check that one, because I think having an obligation to something, sometimes that hurts, but I think in general it does more good for you than it will do harm. I should really find a place in my world where I've got 2 blaze spawners together rather than just sitting here doing this, because this can get hard fast, right? Okay, I've got 42, which is just about fine now. But I think we'll go for just a few more, because I mean, extra blaze rods isn't going to be a bad thing, but I'm picturing a world where I have like 1 end rod too few, and it like pains me, and I don't want to live in that world. But I don't mind living in a world at all, even though I do hate obligation a lot, more than it seems most people do. But like sometimes there are things you realize that are worth having an obligation to. I mean, we have relationships in our life that we cherish, even though we have to, you know, like, we have to talk to them or meet them at some point. That's how literal relationships work, and that's how your family works, or whatever else. Like, there is a slight obligation in there, and that sucks, right? I mean, like, would you hang around with your mother or your father or your brother? I guess your brother's a bad example. But like your granddad, you know, if you're not related to your granddad, and if you're not obligated as family, wouldn't it be so weird to just go hang out with a 70-year-old dude? Or like a 50-year-old dude. I don't know how old your granddad is. I feel like I have a young one if he's 70 and I'm 25, right? But anyway, like it's not a particularly common thing for you to just have old friends. It works because of the obligation in there, right? And so yeah, I feel like one of the things about obligation, one of the things about dedication and whatever is like the more obligation the more responsibility you build into your life today gives you more freedom to pick things tomorrow. Whereas, yeah, again, if I don't upload a Let's Play today, sure, I'll feel great because I didn't do a thing that I felt obligated to. But if I, you know, even though I'm going away for 2 weeks as these go up, it's like, yeah, I could just not do them and argue, yeah, sorry, I'm elsewhere, can't do it. And for certain things that literally can't be done, like a stream, sure, that's what we do. However, for as many things as you can, like trying to, having an obligation to things that you like seems like an objectively worse way to do those things. Like, who wants to... I have some blaze powder in here. That sucks. I could really use some blaze rods now, huh? But having an obligation to things that you like seems like a way of just making them worse. Like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if we could take my hobbies and my fun things and my favorite things about life and make them forced sometimes? But sometimes the weird thing about the way our brains are made, in psychology, we describe it as being literally like 3 different parts of your brain, like the id, there's the id, the ego, and the superego, right? And they have different desires. Okay, do we get the number of... So we got 170-ish. We're still just a little bit short. I'm gonna get just a few more blaze rods, and then we'll go to the end, and we'll place them. Okay, let's do this. Let's finally put the finishing touches to something I've put off for very close to a year at this point. Because, you know what, putting things off is attractive. What if you could not do the thing in the moment you want to do the thing? It's a fun feeling. How could it not be? But I also think, like, we have this almost like, again, in that same way that, like, obligation is something we all hate, but does feel good sometimes. Another kind of, I want to describe this as, like... That was spooky. My door just opened. But something I would describe as almost a hypocrisy is we have this, like... So, you know, I'll mention it on my own level rather than trying to say it's a human problem. Maybe I have this exclusively. But so there's this bakery I really love. They do really nice cake and they're really close to my house. I like it a lot. However, they have opening hours. They're like, they've always been ridiculous, like pre-pandemic, but because of the pandemic, you know, they're a bakery, they you know, you go in and you buy cake and then you leave, and because of the pandemic, I have no idea how this is arguable, but like, it's what they're arguing. It's like, okay, so now we can't open 3 days of the week, and the days of the week we are open, you know, bear in mind, this is like a family, not even a family-owned bakery, it's like two women. I don't know if they're friends or if it's a really cute lesbian bakery or whatever. I haven't asked yet. But what I do know is because of current situation, they've been like, oh yeah, and now instead of being open for 5 hours a day, because already they shut at really bizarre times. Like they just be like, we're taking 3 weeks off, so sorry, no cakes. Which, you know, maybe that's great and fine. But like also they now they've switched to 3 hours a day on a good day, and I've been there during some of those 3 hours. Again, they've committed to 3 hours a day, 4 hours a week. It's like 11 to 2 p.m. or something, which I guess is lunchtime. They've committed to just those hours, and then sometimes I go during those hours and they're not open. They're open, what is that, 3 hours, 4 days a week? They're open 12 hours a week. And it's a great example of, like, to me at least, of like, I hate obligation in all its forms, but when I see someone else like shirking theirs in such a clear way, like, you know, if I show up here during your open hours, which are very ridiculous to begin with, please, I would just like some cake. But that is me being, you know, let's be honest, like entitled, right? I'm not entitled to the sweat from someone else's brow or the cake from someone else's loin. I don't know how this goes, but you know, that's not like a thing that I get just for wanting it, but yet we all kind of do. At the same time as being like, oh, I hate that work is 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week, or you know, like one of the things I still like don't fully internalize is when I was starting YouTube and needed it to succeed, it was literally like every waking hour in a day, call it like a 80-hour week. Like I would do that a-okay, and like it was you know, fine, but like it's not what I wanted. What I wanted was, you know, I like the idea of being able to just take a week off whenever I want, and you know, as long as I prepare with videos like perhaps this Let's Play. And it's a weird, oh, we actually are going to need these extra end rods, aren't we? See, so this is why you prepare just in case. But yeah, it's one of those weird situations where when it's on me, you're like, yeah, I hate obligation. But when someone else is obligated to run their bakery at the hours they proposed, it's like, come on, why didn't you just not promise the thing if you can't do it, you know? Like, if you want to have flexible opening hours, just say, we're open whenever. But you know that's not how customers like it. You know that's not how customers really work. But maybe this is hypocritical of me, because the way I run my streams is basically the same way. I do have stream hours that are like, oh yeah, it starts at roughly 8. I can't tell you exactly when it starts because, you know, I always have some form of streaming issue. If I want it to start exactly 8, I have to be starting it at like 7:30, and then we're wasting, you know, 20 to 30 minutes depending on how soon the setup is begun. Sometimes just so we can guarantee that it's 100% there. Also, because I started on the other side slightly differently with even end rods, I'm now gonna have to break and replace 300 end rods. Should I do it? You know what, since it's the perfect symbol of what I'm trying to prove here, yeah, this is a very minor detail. Let's be honest, no one would notice it otherwise, that there was just one end rod that was very small here, and that suddenly they went out of sync. But I think they look better out of sync than they do look in sync. I think when they're in sync, it's like too boring. When they're out of sync, as you can see right here, it's much more fun and exciting, because you're almost getting like progress from both sides. So what I'm gonna do, yeah, you know, this is a hard task, but I guess we're changing the Let's Play to be about this. We are just placing we are breaking end rods, hoping they don't fall into the void, and then placing some new ones. It's going to be painful, but that's what we've signed up for here, I guess. But yeah, I think having an obligation to people, you know, like let's be honest, like you can say the word customer, like the people that help make you successful. You watch my Let's Plays, and you know, to some extent, you are helping make all of the things that I enjoy happen. Some people take that too far. Well, I hate when people, like... also, we just lost an end rod. Let's hope that doesn't happen too much more often. But some people take that, like, way too far, in my opinion. They're like, oh, I watch your videos, therefore I am single-handedly responsible for your success, therefore you need to message me. And it's like, sorry. I know we live in an individualistic world, and it hurts to be told that you are an individual in the system, because no one wants to tell you that. Like, yeah, you, as an individual, honestly, you don't matter too much. You know, on the societal level, it sucks to say this, but like if I died tomorrow, it would affect, you know, how many individuals? Maybe more than average because of this YouTube channel. But like society's trajectory is not going to change because of that. Even your country's trajectory, even maybe your town's trajectory would be like, wow, after I saw that Toycat died in that terrible swan accident, we realized that we should put those swans on a leash or something, or that I should just avoid swans. Maybe, you know, you can change some things that way or something. But like I think in the same way, it's like, yeah, you can claim you're helping, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I'm also very cautious not to be like oh damn it. Should we just break a bunch of them first and see how many get lost in the void, and then replace them later? That might be a more effective way of doing things. And also, we're gonna lose fewer, I feel like. Oh yeah, this is see, this is such a long and basically thankless task, right? Like it's going. No, I'm gonna lose so many end rods during the course of this too. But yeah, doing some things that like don't have direct rewards is a hard thing about humanity, in my opinion. It's one of the weird things about modern day society in particular. Like, there's always probably been some aspect of it. Like, yeah, when we lived in, oh man, I don't know how many more of these I can afford to lose. Let's find out actually before we go any further. Because I'd rather have it be wrong than have there be another gap. That is my hot take here. But so yeah, I think for instance, like having like jobs that are important but don't seem important is a new thing. This is such a classic example. I think it comes from literally the book The Death of a Salesman. But like if you're working on a ranch or something, hammering fence posts into the ground, like that task does very little for, you know, overall the world. But like you do work and you physically see the outcome. You know, there is a fence post that is now in the ground, and I'm assuming on a ranch that's to stop horses getting out or something. You know, I don't know why people bang fence posts into the ground, but like you're doing a thing. If you're a plumber, you see that a brand new bathroom's been built. I think that's what plumbers do. There might be bathroom. I think there's actually a separate subgenre of that because I'm not a very good. I'm not particularly attuned with the plumbing world, but you know, do you get me? Like, there are all these, you know, like, things where you get to, like, physically see a thing. And there are lots of jobs out there, and I'm sure there are some things that you've done, even today, where it feels like, I put a lot of work into something and no one cares. And it's painful, and I feel like there's so many examples of that. Like, you know, I could be just placing some end stone in my ocean right now. I could be destroying some end stone, or I could be working on many fun things. I wanna beat. I've got another Beat Minecraft challenge video that's gonna be really dumb, and I'm looking forward to working on. But instead, I'm breaking end rods. and placing them, just so I can have that mild satisfaction that when I go here, it's actually in order. Just so I can, when people download the Let's Play world, which is, there are over 10,000 copies of that in the wild. So when the next update, if that goes out, which will be just before or just after 1.17, people will be able to appreciate, like, ooh, the end thing is slightly nicer. No one will directly appreciate it. It's going to be a tiny contributive factor. But sometimes just knowing you're doing something, no matter how infinitesimally small, feels better than when you effectively tell yourself you're doing nothing. There's such a, like in maths terms, the difference between infinitesimally small and nothing is zero. There is no difference. But I think in our brain terms, something that is infinitely small is progress, whereas lack of progress is like a frustrating thing to many people, I'm sure, not just to myself. But like, it's frustrating to have no progress, but but it's perfectly fine when you know you're chipping away at a load. I remember once, I'm really bad at game making, I've probably told before. Once I learned how to make, I think it was image maps in HTML. Basically, I could make a thing where you click a part of an image and it would take you to a different image. And I was like, okay, I can't work out all these actual coding languages I'd have to use. I was going to make one in PHP, which is already such a basic language to make a game in. But I was like, what if I just design every single image for the game, and then you click a part of the image, and it takes you to the next game, and I could make a game that was a web page, and that way I could actually make a game as opposed to not. It would have taken me so long to do that. In the end, I decided not to after doing a few of them. But like the fact that I even could consider like this giant effort that I did bit by bit, slowly chipping away at a giant problem, goes to tell you something about how the human brain works. Again, that is a real thing that we see. And I think one of the valuable lessons that helps me get through so many things is realizing that all of life has some element like that, where it's just like, getting in shape. Everyone imagines you go to the gym, 10 times, and then you get like, I don't know, what do people want? Rock hard abs, or a strong body, or to be not fat. You expect that, immediately, but it's like, no, it takes like a real long time, and you need to do other things. But like, if you just go to the gym, you're making those small progression steps. Every time you leave the gym, you're better than when you went in. You're not going to be all the way, but as long as you just expect very slightly better, I think you'll be happy. This is one of the classic stream phrases we use is like, keep from a stream regular Pookie Hat. See, she is someone who has. Did I lose that many? Okay, no, thank God. But like the whole like keep your expectations tiny thing, and I think that's totally right. Like you expecting nothing. I used to have this like real nihilist attitude where like, what does anything matter? I don't expect anything from life, and now that's fine. And that is okay. Expecting nothing is definitely better than expecting everything. So often we're told. Especially, I feel like my generation, our generation. I don't know what generation you're in, but because until like 10 years ago, this was the wealthiest generation that had ever lived, and not only by a little bit, but by a lot than their parents. Rather than like focusing on like expanding that wealth or making it better, the lesson instead was do whatever you want. Don't worry, the money comes later, or do whatever you want. Don't worry, the success comes later. And it's like, well, actually, turns out that does not work. It turns out you can't just magically hope for things to go well. And, like a lot of people... the fact that I went to... I had a careers counselor in my school. And I said, like, yeah, I want to do games programming, but I know, like... no, I want to design games, I said. Like, but I know that's not a realistic job, so, like, I guess programming or whatever. And they're like, it's not definitely not a job. And it's like, yeah, but very few of them exist. Why can't that be you? And like, I get the idea, but like, again, not only did I go to school in, I think people don't like this term, but it's I went to school in what I call the ghetto, and what you might like to call I don't know, a very bad area in terms of, let's leave it at that. And by the way, in the UK, so like, I feel like the reason people don't like it is because in America there's like a race connotation. There is no race connotation. Because whatever. I'm talking about bad white people. Does that make it not offensive to people who don't like the term ghetto? Anyway, so Like it's like, you know, when you tell 100 people that piece of advice, maybe one of them gets successful and gets their game designing job, or you know, they get to be Todd Howard. But realistically, most of them end up doing something entirely off their thing. Like, having goals that are huge is not only sad because you might not achieve those goals, but because you missed a medium-sized goal along the way. You know, like, not only did you not achieve your big goal, but because of you know, opportunity costs, you didn't get to achieve a medium goal because you were so focused on this big goal that was unachievable. Because I focused my goal as being, I would like to be, I don't know, what's an unrealistic goal? You know, let's use the gym example or this end rod example. I wanted to make a 1 million block, and I have this goal every now and then. Like, I want to make a 1 million block long minecart pathway or boat pathway or nether pathway. I love the idea of 1 million, but then once you know what 1 million actually takes, you know what a huge undertaking that is, and you know, like, okay, I'm gonna start with 1,000, and then if I think I can do 1,000 blocks long, this is 1,000 blocks, by the way, and we've only been working on half of it today, and it's taken all of this length of the video, plus the rest of it, because it's going to keep on going. Okay, now we can actually just break him and let him fall on the floor. But, like, you know, like, it's such an unrealistic goal. But not only when I start, when I get 15,000 blocks in, and I have a pathway going to nowhere, because the only point of the pathway was to go 1 million blocks, I've not only not achieved a 1 million block pathway, but also I then don't have... you know, like, I don't have the access to, you know, I don't have the ability to have done the medium scale project I could have done. So, you know, right now that Obsidian biome, that's great. Couldn't have done that. My little end ocean thing, couldn't have done that. My building all the dimensions in the other dimensions, weird projects. Like, but there's something called opportunity cost, is like a foreign concept that we almost, it almost feels mean to teach people that every time you do something, you're not doing something else you could have done. Because again, telling people not to follow their dreams is such a heartless endeavor. No one's gonna get, and no one's excited to listen to it. But like, you know, follow your dreams, sure, but always have the plan B if you're going to. If you want to follow that huge goal, just know there is a chance it doesn't succeed. And in that chance, just be prepared. Just be ready for it. Because I almost feel like that's one of the cruelest things society does, is that, like, there are some people who are lucky enough to get to follow their dreams. You know, actually, I'll even say that for me. Like, I love what I do here on YouTube. I love that even the weird secondary geography channel managed to take off. You know, like, which was unrelated to this first one because I deliberately didn't advertise them. But even then, I probably had some benefit of, like, people finding it and being like, oh, that's the guy I already know. It is incredibly hard. Oh, no. Even with, oh, no, I can make 4 more, and I can finish this off. Yeah, look at that. Okay, I still need 4 more, and then look at this, internet. We're finally, okay. Well, now it's always going to be slightly off, so I guess we'll just do that. Yeah, I like that idea. Anyway, so now we have officially fixed and finished the end city pathway. It's a big and thankless task, but it does feel a little good. Sometimes feeling a little good, you know, this is like the worst message. Again, I feel like people want to hear motivational messages. That's why, you know, this Let's Play isn't going to be the biggest thing. And like, if you're watching this, you're going to be like, nah, I don't believe in that. Don't worry, I'm gonna, and that's cool. You do what you want to do. That's what's important. But also, I think, hey, look how nice this is. Can hit into either side of the pathway with no issues whatsoever. Can even go sideways if I really want. It's just not very long. But yeah, basically, I think there is a. I think one of the weird lessons in life I found is being a little happy is entirely okay. And the small happiness I got from this was great. I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed sharing it with you in this video. Sometimes, you know, even though the great feeling of success I'd get from my 1 million block long pathway is 100 times bigger, you need to, in the same way, like, winning the lottery feels really good, I'm sure, probably. I mean, most lottery winners lose it. But, like, ignoring that, like, winning the lottery must feel really good. But also, you know the odds of winning are very unlikely, so you don't build your hopes up for winning. If you play, you know you're playing as, like, a long-shot chance. But, like, you know, I've said it before, you can't... imagine if that was your financial plan. I'm just going to wait until I win the lottery. I'm going to keep racking up debts that I can just pay off when I win the lottery, of course. And it's like, yeah, that's not a plan, is it? That's just a tragedy waiting to happen, in my opinion, at least. That's probably a bad way to live. Living your life as a tragedy waiting to happen, not very smart. Even though there are lots of things seem like small victories. Having a small victory is better than having a big loss. Maybe is a better way to put it. And yeah, so I never finished designing my game, my rhythm game. I have so much of the notes and the planning, and even the emails to artists, like getting their songs for it, that was ready to do from all those years ago. But like knowing that, like, okay, this was a huge project. Let's, you know, since the other guy has given up and moved on, sucks that people are like that they're not reliable. But then I realized, you know, okay, what's the next thing? And then I started a like an ad exchange website, which makes no sense in 2021, huh? But I made I made a website that was like successful enough that I could use the money from that to start a website that paid people to click ads, and then from that, it was the money I made when I was 14 till I got terrified of paying taxes, and and then you know, obviously had to. This is so weird, by the way, these visual glitches, and then had to shut it down. But my point was, I took a small success over a giant one, and I feel like to this day, that small lesson, taking a small success instead of a huge loss, is a painful but important lesson. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. All I know is I've been IBX Toycat. I hope you all enjoyed episode 498 of the Minecraft Bedrock Update Adventures Let's Play, where we build stuff, kill stuff, and destroy stuff. Because I'll see you all in the next episode, which will be next week. You see, I have a commitment to you, and I value that commitment, and I hope you value it too. Goodbye.